Guys, before we get started, just run down the injury report. Carmelo is out, sore right knee. Amari is out, sore left knee. Iman is out with his shoulder. Tim Hardaway is out with his concussion. And Sam Dallenberg is out with his ankle. Go ahead, TJ.
Bounce it up, Vito.
Who you do have left, especially Bargnani and JR, how did they come out of that game in the first game?
I think, Andrea came out pretty good. It was impressive what he was able to do after really not playing for almost a year, since January of last season. He was solid. He came out good. I think JR also came out well and physically is feeling a lot better. So obviously with the guys we have out, we'll need the two of those guys to, still in a reasonable amount of minutes, hopefully be impactful.
Who will start?
Good question. No, we'll probably start Cole, Jason, JR, Pablo, Jose. We'll probably go there.
As you watch other players go out, and obviously it's a unique situation, but where's Cleanthony Early in all this as far as him coming back?
Yeah, Cleanthony's going to dress tonight. He's been making a lot of progress the last few weeks, and he's been working really hard, to get himself in position where he can get back out there and help us out. So he'll dress tonight, and I think depending on the situation, I think we can find a few minutes for him here and there, but still recognizing he's a young player, he's a rookie, and we still want to make sure we don't put him in position to be unsuccessful when he gets out there. But I think we'll find some space to use him tonight.
Do you save your players in this situation now, even more guys out, before they get the floor tonight?
Well, all of the talking that coaches do, and this is my first year in being coach and saying it, but I said it for many years as a player. All the little things that coaches ask you to do, the execution, the timing, the setups, setting good screens, making good passes, all of that stuff is even more important when you don't have as much talent on the floor at some point, whether it's injuries, foul trouble, whatever it is. And so, that's where we are, in terms of all the guys being out that we have. Then we have to be even better in execution, even better in our details. And, guys that sometimes complain about or are frustrated about minutes and opportunities, the table is set for you. What are you going to do?
Coach, we've talked about how this is essentially going to be Carmelo Anthony's decision at the end of the day, whether to shut it down or not for the season. I'm just wondering how reasonable you think it is to expect someone as hyper-competitive as anyone playing in the NBA, as you know too well, and also in a situation where so many guys are hurt, to be making the decision that ultimately impacts the franchise over the long term, would be signed for the 4.5 years.
Yeah, well, I think, to make sure we're saying the same thing, there's a balance between a player and his health and, the part that he plays in the decision-making process, and then where we are as a team and giving our thoughts and our opinion to it. We can't unilaterally just say, hey, you can't play for the rest of the season because of A, B, and C. I think our medical staff, our training staff, continue to have conversations with him about where he is. He's conversing with us about how he's feeling, what the symptoms are. And so, as each day kind of unfolds, decisions are being made. It's not something that we're just kind of stepping back and saying, Carmelo, you kind of tell us, when you don't feel like playing anymore.
To that end, though, if it starts to get to a point where a time frame for either surgery or rest or whatever it would be from the medical staff would impact next year, would impact November and beyond, do you expect that to continue to be Carmelo's decision, or at that point do you think the team might be in a position to step in and make the choice?
Well, I think everybody involved, is reasonable enough and smart enough as people in this business to kind of come together on that, if that time comes. I can't speak for all of the different parties, but from the conversations I've been a part of, I think everybody's, smart enough to realize calendar-wise, timing-wise, that there may come a point when that's the decision that needs to be made, but that, we can't force, Carmelo to that point just yet.
It's not there yet.
No, we don't. I don't think our medical staff feels that, it's getting worse basically by him playing. It's just more so, a day-to-day thing based on our schedule, and the intensity of our schedule.
What are his symptoms today that precluded him from
Just I think soreness, just some discomfort, and it's not something that he hasn't been feeling. I don't think, but when you look at the schedule that we've been playing, the schedule we have coming up from tonight to next Saturday, it's a tough schedule, and we got a couple back-to-backs in there. We're flying back halfway across the country, then back to the East Coast again, and the NBA loves us a lot this year with the schedule they gave us, and so the next couple weeks, it's tough, but we'll get a little space, once we get to London, hopefully to try to get some guys back.
And Amari had mentioned that the possibility of the knee, I don't know, swelling or feeling discomfort from the flight. Did that happen? Is that one of the reasons you're not playing tonight?
Well, no, I mean, I think inflammation, and all of us kind of happens on flights, in particular when you have something kind of going on already. I don't know if it was, an acute traumatic type of swelling or inflammation that came from the flight. And I don't necessarily think that contributed to maybe, him being able to not play tonight or be able to play. But, Amari's, as committed as anybody, and I think the minute he can get back out on the floor, he will.
Carmelo, is it better to sit him a couple days, a couple games, or you can come around and play Sunday as well? So what's your thoughts?
Well, I'll think about tonight, and getting through tonight, and then, I'm sure we'll huddle up tomorrow, and like I said, kind of look forward to, it's a pretty intense week coming up, and kind of make some decisions from there. But like we talked about, I think there definitely will come a time at some point where there has to be a conversation about a longer space for him possibly, but it's just not there at this point.
Some of the players said the other day spoke about you being very positive, keeping him up through this tough stretch. Is it hard, or what do you say about starting playing on the outside? People are talking about draft, lottery, things like that, or not giving, especially when you go lineup like tonight, not giving him. It still matters.
Yeah, no, I think it all matters, and I think that's the message. You have various guys in different stages of their careers and things that they're trying to prove and accomplish in this league. And whether I'm their coach or they're playing for this team or another team, there are certain habits, there's a certain approach to this game that in order to be successful in this business, you must have. And those are the things that we're trying to instill in these guys, no matter what our record is, no matter how we're playing on a particular night or during a particular week. And so I'm just trying to keep taking them back to that. Okay, we lost tonight. The reasons why, we show up tomorrow, we watch film, we talk about it. It's not all, cake and ice cream in terms of being positive. I'm very frank with them about what we're not doing. But, getting back to the end-year process. And so that's what we have to, remain focused on. We can't control what has happened already. We can only control tonight and going forward, and that matters. Somebody's watching, whether it's us, our front office, or the other 29 teams in their front offices. So I'd say you show up and play as hard as you can play every night.
Derek, you mentioned about flying, and you've been in this business a long time, but a lot of people written about circulation pumps, even from the layman on airplanes. Is there anything that you did as a player when you got to fly a lot, or anything you encourage players to do to keep the blood circulating?
Well, I think, now, all teams are traveling with, game-ready units, which is kind of an ice compression unit that teams are traveling with. And there are other compression units that a lot of teams use. There are compression tights and pants that guys wear on flights, to help for swelling and inflammation. But, you're flying across country or you're flying to 3 different cities in 5 nights or 6 nights, sometimes things happen.
I was going to say, as a layman, I've got a flight trying to go in 6 hours. Do you just move around a lot? I mean, is there something you recommend as the average person to do?
Oh, for the average person? Well, no, I'm not a doctor, so I can't get caught up in, any suggestion like that other than just trying to be as healthy as possible, yes.
Derek, the first quarter has been a problem.
Yeah.
Especially having played the last 18
Mm-hmm.
games. And so many different starting lineups. What do you need from this starting lineup to get off a good start?
I think that's what we talked about this morning. At shoot-around, it was the first thing I queued up. And we talked about it, a few days ago in terms of look at our starts from at Toronto, Christmas, Washington, at Sacramento, etc. If we can cure that, we can at least give ourselves a better chance the next 3 quarters. Some of it's personnel, and some of that may need to change. Tonight we're forced to change some of it. But it's also a mindset as well. And so talked to the guys this morning about it's physical, mental, or both. Are you doing everything that you need to do mentally and physically to prepare yourself to play a game every single night? If you're doing those things, then from there it's my job to decide personnel-wise if something needs to be different. And so, it's a combination of those things that, we have to be focused on. And hopefully tonight these guys can, get us off to a better start.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thanks.